Hello, everyone. Welcome to our game design pitch day. We'll just get started really quickly. I'm just going to share my screen. Sorry, Ann Garcia, I'm just going to have you leave the stage. Not yet. There we go. Hey, Cecilia. Cecilia is our lovely career coach who will be joining us on stage in a little bit as well. Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Circuit Stream's Game Design Pitch Day. Today, we are celebrating the graduation of our game design students from our December cohort. Today's event features several industry professionals who are keen to hear the students' pitches, plus several of our recent graduates from the Game Design Bootcamp, and also several members of the community and public who are keen to see what the next generation of game designers brings. Just some housekeeping stuff as we kind of work through the event. So today's event is about 2-ish hours. Though only our partners and presenters will be able to go up on stage and speak, all attendees are welcome to participate in the chat. So please use the general chat to ask any questions, comments, feedbacks, and anything else. Throughout the pitches, we will be playing some embedded YouTube videos, the students' demos. These will be played at full volume on our end, but please be prepared to adjust the volume on your own computer as we play through the slides. And lastly, a reminder to our guest speakers, please make use of the moderator's chat on the right-hand side for internal communication, and then the general chat for anything else. Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Mahnur. I am the Partnership Development Specialist here at CircuitStream. My ultimate job is to get job seekers in our career program a little bit closer to their jobs, helping build their professional networks and ideally get them hired or put them in touch with some of the amazing mentors that we have. I have brought in several esteemed guest speakers from different companies across the country. Some of them are hiring managers, some have more technical roles, and essentially my hope today is that this is an opportunity for everyone to network, connect, and also chat about the gaming industry. A little bit of the schedule that we have. So we'll just start off with doing an event kickoff, partner introductions, career coaches introductions, introduction to the capstone project, then the graduate pitches, which we're all excited for. And then at the very end, we'll just do a small little wrap up. So a little bit of background on us. CircuitStream began in 2015. We start off as through a network of developers, designers, and creators, and we are now the leading provider of technology education in game development, game design, product management, as well as software development. Our primary goal is to provide future-proofed and industry-relevant skills to folks looking to pivot into tech, whether that's through upskilling or learning about the technical aspects of the industry. And our secondary goal is to prepare our bootcamp graduates for jobs in their preferred industry through events like this one today, one-on-one connections, and engaging with our network of employer partners. Since our start in 2015, we have educated over 50,000 students globally, and we are constantly updating our curriculum to stay ahead of the curve. As a day, if you click on the captions button at the bottom, you should be able to have subtitles on. Let me know if that works for you. I turned it on my end. I don't know if it'll do the same for you too. I'll let you kind of have a look at that. But CircuitStream is also educational partners with several top universities across North America to provide technology education for both youth and adult learners. In parallel to the technical program that we offer, we also provide an optional career program to our bootcamp graduates, which all the students here participating in the pitch day have been a big part of. This program provides ongoing support for students who are keen to start job hunting right after graduation to make sure that they're prepared to find a new job. Through this program, we are committed to supporting our students with their careers and personal development, and we take pride in providing opportunities to connect our learners with industry partners and networks. For our businesses in attendance today, we are always looking to expand our network of employers who we reach out to for event, talent opportunities, and more. If you're interested in joining our talent network, please reach out to me. My email is just right here on the slide, and I'll also share my email in the chat afterwards as well, but I'd be really happy to connect with everyone. With that, I would love to have our career coach up on stage today. I'll start off by calling Emma. If you could join and just share a little bit about the programs.
Hello, everyone.
Oh no. Okay, maybe we'll give her a few minutes.
Can you hear and see me okay?
Yes, now we can. Thank you.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. It's great to see you. Hope you're having a great week so far. My name is Emma Falante. I'm one of the career coaches here at Circuit Stream. I've spent the last few years working with a lot of great tech talent as they upskill their professional skills and move into their fields of choice. Here at Circuit Stream, we're really proud of our career program. We want to ensure that all of the students graduate with a really solid career foundation that they gain through coming to our career labs that we host, while also then getting that customized experience through one-on-ones with us as they continue to search for jobs and continue to develop their skills. So really looking forward to their presentations today, and I'm going to pass it over to Cecilia.
Thank you so much. You're muted, Cecilia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cecilia. Hi. So I think Emma did such a great job of introducing what we're doing here. My background's in human resources. I've been a professional career coach for the last 8 or 9 years now. And it's a privilege to support some of these students as they're entering a new area, pivoting into software development or gaming. And in this program, I have the privilege of also doing the career labs at the same time as everyone's doing their technical skills. And that ensures that when they are finished this program, which today it will be what's happening for some of these students, they're ready for job search right away. And as Emma mentioned, we're providing the one-on-one support, which really I think sets us apart because we're helping students develop strategies that are personalized and that work specifically to their backgrounds and their own goals. So I'm really excited to be here, and I'm cheering on all the students here today as well.
Thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate the work both you and Emma do with our students. It really helps a lot with everything. It's amazing. Thank you so much. With that, I will now start by calling up a few guest speakers to introduce themselves. So partners, when I call your name, please join the stage just by clicking the join stage button at the very bottom where it says microphone and camera. Give us a rundown of where you work, what you do, a little background about your career so far, and anything else you'd like to share with our presenters today. So with that, could I please have Michael join the stage?
Hello, can everybody see and hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm Mike. I'm a lead game designer at Behavior. I've been at Behavior going on 7 years. Previously worked at Invisio with Costa, as I said, and before that worked at a studio called Minority Media. That they did VR only, and they've since rebranded and call themselves Meta for Entertainment. But yeah, I mean, I've been a lead now for going on 2 years. Um, really looking forward to seeing all the pitches today.
Amazing. Thank you, Michael. Vaibhav, if you could please join the stage and just share a little bit about yourself as well.
Am I visible and audible okay?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here. My name is Vaibhav Rakheja. I work as a gameplay and an AI programmer and a team mentor. I am working in Ubisoft currently, and before that, I was working with Huawei as a senior graphic research engineer before I was officially mastering as a computer science student from University of Alberta in AI and multimedia. And yeah, I am looking forward to for all the pictures that you guys have for me. And yeah, best of luck, you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Stephen, if you could please join the stage and share a little bit about yourself as well.
Oh,
I'll get you out, don't worry. Hey.
I'm a game designer and also a systems and economy designer at Thinking Ape. I've been in the gaming industry for about 10 years now, and before the gaming industry, I was also in casino gaming for another 5 years. So I live in spreadsheets and stats.
Perfect. Our accounting team would absolutely enjoy working with you then. All right, thank you. Costa, if you could just please join the stage lastly and share a little bit. Sorry, you're muted, Costa.
Yeah, there we go. Counter to what my picture shows, I'm not black and white. I'm in color. I'm a game designer at Ubisoft. I've been a game designer for about 10 years now, different companies. Started off at Invisio Creations with Michael, as we saw earlier. Moved on to Ludia for another 3 years or so, and started at Ubisoft about 3 years ago. Yeah, looking forward to all your pitches. I know that I got started in this industry because of a similar pitch meeting as well. So really looking forward to seeing what's out there.
Thank you, Costa. We really appreciate it. And I'm so excited to share all the presentations today. Our students have worked so hard and they've been so amazing. So thank you so much. Just a little bit about our game design bootcamp, because we do have a few future students in the chat here. So the game design bootcamp is a 30-week intensive program where students explore every stage of the game creation process, from concept development to player experience. They don't just learn theory, they build interactive prototypes, collaborate in teams, and gain hands-on experience by shaping their gameplay, level systems, and user interfaces. Throughout this program, they've received continuous career coaching, like Emma and Cecilia were mentioning, mentorship, and one-on-one guidance to help them transition confidently into the industry. Just a little bit about the capstone project. So at the end of the bootcamp, every student was challenged to bring their creative vision to life, from initial concept to polished prototype. The goal was to design a compelling and playable experience that showcases their design thinking, storytelling, and artistic direction. Whether they worked individually or in teams, they applied everything they learned, from level and system design to UI UX, player experience, iteration, and so much more, to produce a cohesive gameplay concept that's ready for industry feedback today. With the pitch day, so pitch day is a highlight of the program. It's where all the creativity, strategy, and design thinking comes into play. Over the past 30 weeks, these students have imagined, designed, and refined their own game concepts from ground up. Today, we'll be walking you through their projects, sharing inspiration, design processes, challenges, and everything that they've learned along the way. This event, I just want to mention, isn't just about presenting a game. It's about showcasing their storytelling, problem solving, and collaboration skill, and the kind of innovation that just drives the future of game design. So I'm really excited for you to watch all of their games, like I've been saying. With that, we are seeing 5 pitches today, 7-ish minutes to pitch, with 5 minutes of question and answers from our guest speakers. And then once the pitches are done, I will invite all the guest speakers back up on stage to begin. So first up, we have our group with Joanne, Andrew, and Rory presenting Phobogenesis. So group 1, whenever you're ready.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, our group is proud to present to you our capstone project named Phobogenesis. Next slide. Our team is composed of myself, Rory Greening, Joanne Lin, and Andrew Savitsky. As you can see, each of us took ownership in specific areas of the overall design. Despite these individual titles, we all continuously collaborated and inspired each other throughout the design process, from the conception of this idea to the prototype's completion. Next slide. Speaking for myself, I come from a business professional background with over 5 years of experience in strategy and operations in Canada and the US. After finding an initial success in the world of business, I am now looking to transition my career into game design as I seek a more creative and engaging career path. My short-term goal is to find mentorship opportunities as well as secure a junior game design role. But in the long term, I would like to secure a career track towards a role as a game producer. Next slide.
Hi, I'm Joanne. I hold a Bachelor of Science in Game Development. I have worked on various projects involving 2D and 3D art and technical workflows using Unreal Engine 5 and Unity. I'm an aspiring junior game designer interested in creating immersive and system-driven narrative experience, with a long-term interest in growing towards a technical artist role. I enjoy collaborating with others and learning through production, and I'm open to work with game studio of any size. Next slide.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I have a background in mechanical engineering, both in the private and public sectors, and decided to make the transition into video game design due to my lifelong interest in video games. I'm self-learned in Unreal Engine 5, and I aspire to work with either an indie or AAA game studio. I'm eager to work with people interested in challenging established genres, with my ultimate goal in mind, the design of an MMO. Next slide. So, Phobogenesis is a game occurring in the realm of memories, filled with a variety of phobias. The player will delve into those memories and seek to vanquish the phobias, uncover their origins, and unravel the narrative. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. In Phobogenesis, the player will interact in various ways with the environment and the multitude of objects. Throughout the missions, the player will make discoveries through exploration, converse with a mysterious entity, and fight in situations that are not so straightforward. But most importantly, next slide, the player will need to avoid losing their sanity. Instead of the standard hit point system, the player will lose sanity points. The loss of the sanity points will be displayed by blurring and distorting the player's vision until it is healed through the use of mission-specific items. Next slide.
Our goal was to create an experience where players confront multiple manifest phobia inside a shifting environment, while uncovering the secret of a larger underlying narrative. Built on the main pillar of Unhinged Fear, the game uses branching path and unexpected mechanic to create anxiety. Next page. For Phobogenesis, we took inspiration from different games, especially the Silent Hill series and Misai. Both create immersive and unsettling environments that makes players feel uneasy while still encouraging exploration. And Misai is an interesting example of both a shifting environment and a character with a nuanced personality. Next slide. In the development of this project, we focus a lot on the ideation. We explore several concepts and discuss them in terms of feasibility and how interesting the final result could be. More importantly, we wanted to challenge ourselves. Once we choose Phobogenesis, we move into production, divided responsibility, and work towards our milestone. Next slide. Here, we are thrilled to present you a short demo of Phobogenesis. Next slide, please.
We aimed for the missions to be intuitive, intricate, and compelling. We learned how essential it was to make good use of visuals and sounds, and how much indirect interactions added to the player's experience. As for the system design, we focused on it being effortless, straightforward, and captivating. We found that simple inputs with many outputs was the best way to maintain immersion. Next slide.
The creature was designed to feel both scary and anomalous. This was achieved by not only having the creature body be composed of multiple heads bizarrely attached to a base, but also by having it move strangely and constantly. From a gameplay perspective, we found that combat becomes far more frightening when the player cannot rely on direct attacks. Using environment object and indirect interaction creates a more tense and frightening experience. Next slide.
The goal for the environmental design was for it to be frightening, dynamic, and complex. The phobias directly impacted the focus of the environments, such as the prototype mission's oppressive reflection of nyctophobia, the fear of the dark. This was achieved by finding a balance between the various lighting systems, the types of assets used, and the way those assets are strategically spread within the environment. The lead design was accomplished by using a variety of layouts to support the gameplay systems and the narrative pacing, in addition to supporting the overall surreal horror atmosphere. Next slide. The design of the NPC needed to be simple, but also active and nuanced. As such, the NPC was designed with an awareness of its surroundings in order to interact both with and without any input from the player, and be able to react to different situations. On the other hand, the narrative needed to be both haunting and subtle. We accomplished this through the dialogue that would at times sound like something you remembered hearing from a dream, both understandable yet hard to decipher. Next slide. In terms of the future of Phobogenesis, we're aiming to significantly improve on all aspects of the game, with our primary focus being on the player character, NPC, and mission design. Next slide. As for all three of us, in the immediate future, we're eagerly searching for teams to join while continuing to develop our individual game design skill sets. Next slide. We thank you very much for your time. Next slide. And if you would like to get in touch with us, we can be contacted through any of the respective links provided. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The project looks so amazing. It reminds me of Alan Wake 2. It's kind of
I'm actually playing that game right now.
nice. It's pretty similar to yours. It's the same like horror creepy vibe. Great job, you guys. Can I please have the guest speakers join the stage and talk to the students? Right. Okay. Anyone just take your.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I could start. Great presentation. You really did a good job in taking us through the steps that you took, the decisions that you made. It looks new, but very familiar. So I kind of know what I'm getting into, but it has a nice twist to it with the whole sanity being your health points and stuff like that. One thing that did come to mind with that is expanding a bit more about the stories involved in the game. You mentioned earlier in the presentation that the goal is to vanquish phobias and unravel their origins. I would love to just get a sense of what these origins kind of are, or just something to get me really hooked into the story aspect of this game, since horror games are usually pretty focused around narrative elements. Another thing that stood out was the sanity points as your health bar. I see that kind of as a resource. I'd love to see how you could build that out further, how to explore making health points as kind of a resource system that can appear in other parts of the game as well. But overall, really cool stuff. The art looks really great. It really portrays exactly what you were going for with horror and adventure. So good job.
I'll add to that. Yeah, I think agree with everything Costa's saying. The atmosphere and everything was really, really creepy. That's really cool. My advice would be number one, to make sure that there's trigger warnings for the player, right? Like if the player is going to be sensitive to any of the phobias that you're kind of going for there, make sure there's a little disclaimer in there that hey, things might get creepy here. And number two, to make sure that the player knows the goal, right? Like the one thing that I couldn't tell from the video there is just how you're leading the player through the environment and through the puzzles. And that's going to be key for this game, because like the big piece of advice I got when I was in your shoes as a student was that you don't ship with the game, so make sure the player can play it without somebody watching over them and guiding them. But really, really excited. I really love the premise. So yeah, good luck.
Yeah, okay. I would like to add to Michael's advice. Thank you so much, Michael. That was great advice. And congratulations, guys. Great presentation. I was just hoping, and I would love to see and hear your thoughts about some other design challenges that you might have thought of, or like I was hoping to see. in the trailer was some jump scares or like sanity related to the fear factor or some other design challenges that you can also include in this game so that it becomes more interesting and can captivate the player for a bit longer time. Yeah.
All right, I'll hop in next. Thank you everyone for the presentation. I liked how you broke down what you're working on. The game kind of immediately reminded me of Phasmophobia, if you've played it before. But what stood out to me with this game was like the sound design really leaning into that anxiety. It feels like this is going to be a bit more of an intense game than Phasmophobia, kind of keep you on the edge of your seat. I did love the monster design as well. And following up with what Michael said, I didn't fully know like what the objective of the game is. Like, am I supposed to defeat the monster? Am I supposed to just escape from this house? How do I do it? But I think you've got a lot of great parts here, and you can make a really cool game from what you've built so far.
If students, if you'd like to respond or go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry.
So I'll start with the narrative side to simplify it. So the idea of the full Genesis, so what you saw there was only the first level. The idea was for the environment to constantly change when the Narran phobia is activated. So the player itself, it starts as a scientist that was doing an experiment, and now he's in the realm of memories, exploring certain phobias that he was investigating. But the trick with it is that slowly but surely, the player would realize that there's not only phobias, but their origins are related to actually people he knows. So he's actually in the memories of other people that he knows, and he's actually fighting the phobias within their heads. By the end of it, there will be branching paths. So the players actually would have, based on their choices, have done things that they thought they were good, but actually resulted in something wrong with that person related to the specific phobia, or things that went well and this is a success. And that would be unraveled at the end of it. Well, at steps by the end of it. As for the loss of sanity, so yes, so the idea was to not simply have an HP, a hit point system, but actually have also something that not only is based on the attacks from the creatures, but also actually based on other things that could happen. So again, player choice. So maybe the bar would reduce, so the player would see like, oh, actually I have less hit points this time because of some other choices that I did, and that would continuously change. But that wasn't implemented yet in the first mission, but it would go on ahead, like as such. As for the creature, I would let Joanne talk about it. And for the combat, too?
Yeah, like the sanity system right now, we have it that the screen will go blurry and you can eat the apples to recover the sanity. And for the monster, we trying to kill because it's a dark stage where the character is trying to fight the darkness, and the dark creature has to be fight with the light. And we take the lamp, either throw it in front of the monster, or we move it closely, and then the lamp will destroy the monster.
Yeah, we essentially tied like lighting into this particular prototype level design, which, as we stated, was based on nyctophobia, the fear of the dark. But if we were to expand this project, we'd include designs that are focused on different phobias. Like another idea that we hint at the end of this prototype is chromophobia, which is the fear of color. So just trying to find unique gameplay systems to really add unique gameplay systems to each level. But yeah, the sanity system we used, as I wrote down, was also directly influenced by Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which I don't know if everyone here has played, but it was more so a visual effect that required the player to essentially recover their sanity through external means.
Thank you, students. Thank you, guest speakers. Thank you for all your feedback. With that, we will move on to our next presentation for today. If I could have everyone leave the stage, and Anna Garcia, whenever you're ready, please join the stage and present your project. We'll just give her a minute. She's ready to join the stage. Okay. I'm just going to give you some more time. Okay, there we go. Thank you so much.
I'm having some trouble with my camera. I don't know how to arrange it so that it shows my face.
The setup that you had previously was really nice when we started off the pitch day.
Yes.
Would that work?
With regards to sharing the screen?
Oh, you're not sharing your screen. I already have your presentation up.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, just a moment. I don't see the camera is not working, unfortunately.
That's okay. No worries. You can start off with your presentation, then we can have a look at your camera afterwards.
Perfect. Okay. Hello, my name is Angracia. Today I'll be sharing my project, Pyro Crossing. Next slide, please. Yes. I am a recent graduate of the game design program at CircuitStream. I signed on because I wanted to build and design my own world that blends storytelling with mischievous gameplay. A little bit about myself is that I learned to play the piano in 3 months, and I also enjoy gardening. My background is in the health and science field. I studied to be a first responder. However, I'm currently working as an administrative agent in the hospice care system. I am seeking mentorship and guidance in the game design field. Next slide, please. With Pyro Crossing, I wanted to create a game for casual gamers that isn't intensive, enjoyable, and can be played by any skill level. Next slide, please. And with Pyro Crossing, it's a fantasy gacha-style RPG with a third-person point of view, primarily created for PC gamers, and it's inspired by my fear of Peter Pan. The core mechanics that I'll be exploring throughout the game include resource management, combat, and exploration. Next slide, please. Alrighty then. For the objective of Pyro Crossing, you'll use your actions to explore the islands, survive the ocean, complete odd jobs, set sail, and locate treasure. And the theme of Peter Pan comes into play because you'll be building relationships with other characters by enlisting children to help you locate treasure around the islands. Next slide, please. Alrighty then. Some of my inspiration comes from, I'm sorry, I believe that's the wrong slide. Would you mind going back one slide, please? Wonderful. Oh, my apologies. Okay, sorry. Alrighty then. I'm so sorry. Can you go off to the, yes, perfect. Alrighty then. For the gameplay market, I utilized 2 games that are similar to the game that I'm building, which include Pokemon Arceus and Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, both of these 2 games are both open world games, which I'd also like to fashion my game after. However, instead of having it be an open world game, I'd like for it to be a semi-open world that allows the player to explore, fight, and enjoy the environments while having a narrative play in the background. Next slide, please. Wonderful. So some of my inspiration comes from Peter Pan and my fear and how he's kidnapping children. And I'd like to add that aspect within the game. And as you can see, some pictures for what the environment will look like later on down the line. We have two cities, one in Italy and the other is of Brazil. You can see that the homes are closely knit, and since the setting is a portside town, I want to evoke the warmth and the nature of the town and how closely knit the people are. And I would like to show that within my game. And with Ponyo, and that is another movie that also inspired this game as well. It shows that the player, or my apologies, the character is growing, and it's sort of like a coming of age story. And I'd like to incorporate that within my game as well. Next slide, please. Wonderful. So a little bit about my game process. The concept was originally born in July. However, I put it on the back burner, and in November, I began brainstorming for my project. I started creating the game, and unfortunately, I did have to scrap a few ideas because I didn't have enough time. So that was one of the executive decisions that I had to make. But in December, I finally landed on the idea that came about in July, and I decided to start the game. I created it, and I began playtesting right away as soon as I had a product that was ready to be shipped out. In January, I made the revisions from the previous playtesting session, and I was also able to allow for the individuals to replay test the game. And I had a total of 5 players and individuals who played and viewed my game. And currently in February, I'm in the alpha stages of my game. Next slide, please. Alrighty then, here we have my demo, and this is a bit more completed than the previous version that you saw earlier. Alrighty then. Now, some of the takeaways from this project that I experienced. I believe there's one more slide. Would you mind switching again, please? I'm so sorry. Alrighty then, I'll just go off of the So some of the takeaways that I have from my experience by creating Pirate Crossing include scheduling conflicts and identifying what the purpose and the nature of the game will be. I didn't have much trouble adding to the storyline, but I felt that when I was creating my game design document, I more so added to the story as opposed to the game in and of itself, like the tasks and how the game would play out. So I'm working towards getting better at creating a more defined core loop. Some of the takeaways that I do have for myself that I appreciate that I learned throughout this process is that I learned to build and structure a comprehensive game design document. And I was able to identify different aspects that I can cut prior to rolling out my playtest in order for other individuals to either be able to play it or be able to enjoy it to a greater deal. Thank you for your time. In order to contact me, I have my LinkedIn and my email address linked over here, and I am ready for your commentary. Thank you.
Thanks, Anne Garcia. Could I please have the guest speakers join us? Anyone, whenever you guys are ready.
I can start us off. Looks very cool. I'm very interested in kind of how the game is going to evolve there. The feedback and advice I'd have is kind of the same as the last game. Make sure that the players are going to know what their goal is and how they have to achieve it in the build. So any kind of signs and feedback that can kind of help the player understand your game loop more. I'd focus on that. but obviously it's early and it's in the prototype stage and everything. So it looks really cool, and I'm kind of like I'm picturing in my head how it's going to evolve, and I think it would be really cool. So
Thank you.
Yeah, I could jump onto that. I really love your explanation of your inspiration. Your fear of Peter Pan kept coming back and explaining that the fear of like kidnapping the kids just it put an image in my head of what to expect from this game. So that was a really good establishing where this game is coming from. I would agree with Michael that to me the game loop was kind of missing. I'd love to know, like, your demo showed waves of enemies, and I understood, okay, I got to fight that, but you mentioned some puzzle solving aspects from your inspirations, such as Zelda. How do those fit in? Are the puzzles the enemies that you go up against, or are puzzles like their own separate area in the game loop? So maybe just map out some of that a bit more so that I have a clearer vision of what the game is as a whole. But otherwise, great first steps and a really nice presentation. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, I'll go next. I really liked the environment design you put together. Like, I get a really good visual from those images. I agree with what everyone else said about the core loops. I understood kind of like the battle mechanics seem quite simple. You want this to be like an any skill level game. So that made sense to me. I wasn't quite sure of like what's the exploration about. You talk about like making friends or interacting with the world or their quests. What is my objective of the game? I understand like open worlds take a lot to design. I think your ideation is on the right path. It just needs to be like fleshed out a little more fully. Um, and the last part I wasn't quite sure about is like, how does Pirate Crossing, the name, interact with the game? Am I a pirate? Is everyone else a pirate? Etc.
Yes, if I may, with regards to the game, you will be signing on to become a pirate in order for you to explore the islands and the ocean. Um, and the reason why you're recruiting young children is because you need their assistance in helping you find and locate the treasure, because children have a different way of seeing the world, and that aspect will be greatly needed in order for you to be able to navigate and explore the environment that you'll be going into yourself. With regards to the gameplay, unfortunately, it was only a snippet. There is supposed to be a portion at the start where there's a narrative aspect added on. You're essentially meeting one of the first recruits of your team in order for you to so my apologies. So you're meeting the first recruit, you're supposed to help them and you're saving them from the bad guys, which is the fight scene that subsequently follows, which is what you're seeing with the waves. So after the fight scene is concluded, there's another narrative aspect as well. So it's more so you're recruiting your pirate crew, and then you're going to set sail, find adventure and treasure, and also locate different aspects of the pirate life, essentially.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'll go next. So yes, I first of all, very nice presentation and very nice idea behind the game loop that we discussed. I really like how you are trying to ideate the gameplay behind a narrative story, and that kind of gives me a highlight of what the player loop might look like. The graphic that you showcased, okay, I mean, they're really nice, but I also understand, as everyone mentioned, that it might be a hassle uh, trying to make good graphics while having an open world setting. And that was one thing that I really liked about your presentation over there. Gameplay wise, I could just advise on some more elements that would make the gameplay more interesting and game design more interesting. Simple, like a little more compact. Right now, we have like simple combat, which kind of hints us that we need to fight off and uh, survive the waves of enemies. Uh, and I think that would be all that I would have as feedback. And
Wonderful.
again, congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guest speakers. Thank you for all the feedback that you provided us, and great job, Anne Garcia. With that, could I please have everyone leave the stage and Max join us and tell us a little bit about Diamond Blaster?
Okay, everything look good. Everything clear here.
Love it. Love the outfit change.
Yeah, I'm right back in academia.
Look at
All
that.
right. So today I'm going to be talking about Diamond Blaster, of course, a work in progress title. This is a game I made with Ashley Cooper, my classmate in this. We're both here based in Montreal. And so, we work together on this thing. We both got our start in film writing and screenwriting. Ashley has a degree and is currently working at Motive in the city, doing games writing. And so she really focused really hard on the AI and the sort of level implementation with this thing, while I took on the onus of a lot of the audio visual work I've experienced in radio and sound design, and also, of course, writing, while I ended up graduating in classical languages and literature, focusing on Latin poetry and prose translation, while also doing some Greek, Old Norse, and Hittite. And so what we are really fascinated in is making a sourced, researched world that really has its systems and its characters all integrated to make a really immersive world that feels like, even though it's fantastical, even though, you're living sort of a spy fantasy in this game, you're really going in with, oh, this feels, immersive. This feels like a world that could happen in 50, 60 years or even shorter. And so going on to the next slide, we can talk about what Diamond Blaster actually is. Here's a little bit of the elevator pitch. It's a narratively driven RPG stealth simulator where there's a choice for everything. You can work with an intriguing cast of characters. You have a contact who gives you missions in this world of a little small mining city that has been overtaken by this tyrannical force. You can kill everyone. You can sneak your way through. You can talk your way through with all the people in the town. There's so many ways to do what you want to do, but you just got to make sure you do the right thing. Free your town and weaken the grip of the tyrant. Going on to the next slide. When talking about this sort of genre and other games that are in this lane, we're really inspired by, of course, the Dishonored series, of course, the Deus Ex, and a bit of Mass Effect, because I really worked hard on this dialogue system. A lot of this is about talking to people, talking out a way to find it, and keeping everything simplified. We didn't want inventory management. We didn't really want a quest log. If you forget what you have to do, go back to the guy and ask him. There's always more communication to be had, more ways to find out. And when looking at titles like this, you see AAA, AAA, AAA. It's a AAA sausage fest. And so we're really interested in bringing that indie nostalgic angle into a sort of genre like this that really hasn't had too much of a signature entry in the past 5 years or a decade. I believe Dishonored 2 came out something like 2017. It's been a while. And so we're really fascinated in bringing back this sort of angle with really enhanced AI, like you can see with these enemies, and is so important to the Dishonored series, while also putting some indie angle into it. You'll see that enemies just spray out their drops because we want to, simplify it to the core loop, which we could talk about on the next slide after we talk a bit about the deeper world. As I said, we're both so fascinated with story. We're both writers. And so in this world, which we have a map right here beneath of the actual playable area that Ashley drew out for us, you can see we have this triangle, and then what's pink is enter D is not allowed. Just a bit of a horizon to give you some mind. You can see we're really inspired by the maps of Dishonored 2. I'm a big fan of Karnaca and Dunwall. I think their design is just outstanding. And then, of course, Hitman. You have these places where you can explore in so many ways, and you're going through it so many different times, always finding a different corner. You could always miss something. And while they have their own sort of totalitarian force breathing down their necks, we have Genesis, this corporate, value extraction movement that has taken over your small mining town because they extract this resource, this diamond, which is magically powered. It powers the It powers the buildings, it powers your guns, it powers the enemy's guns. You know, even in the level, you can crack open breaker boxes to recharge your grappling gun. And that's also part of the unique thing about this game. We want to really expand the movement possibilities, the verticality. You know, we want for you to have those moments where you walk into someone, you're like, they're gonna kill me. Do I talk my way out of it, or do I grapple away? Let me just get out of here, take a second, take another approach, and then get back to it later. So going on to the next slide, we can go way deeper into that loop. You can see it kind of starts in the bottom right here. You're going to assess the situation, you know, find out what you can do, find out who you can talk to, and then talk to some guys who can help you. Here in this example, we've got this pawn shop owner whose shop has been taken over and completely ransacked, and you're going to help him so that he can help you. And that'll help you navigate the town even more, find out more ways to complete your mission so that you can free your people, free your community. This is about rebuilding the world that you once knew that has just been completely ransacked by fascist losers, these guys in paratrooper suits all over the city, carrying guns, carrying batons. And as we go on to the next slide, we get a deeper look at this loop. You can see that we're going to have a bunch of, onto the next slide, please. You're going to see that we've got some extra steps here just to really give you a sense as to what this is. We're really focused on making this loop like just completely seamless. You know, we want for you to be able to just keep it going. It's a mission system. That's a big inspiration from Hitman. So you're going to be accepting the mission, making allies in order to find new ways, grappling around, running around, sprinting around, crouching around, finding all of the different methods that you can do in order to finally free your town from this tyrannical force. And through that, explore this place that you love so much, this place that you grew up, that is just in a stranglehold from this oppressive force. And we're talking about, on the next slide, the sort of person that we think would like this game. We're looking at a little bit of a more mature audience. TTRPG fans, immersive sim fans, spy fans, because you're going to be low to the ground, surveying the scene. You know, you're kind of bird in the sky, seeing everything, an eye in the sky. And of course, compelling narratives. We're two writers. We want for you to be really pulled into this thing. And I put in here this screenshot from New Vegas, which of course, one of the great video game stories. And, you know, we want to bring a sort of modern human levity to such a dark situation. You know, it's all doom and gloom. We're talking about fascism. We're talking about totalitarianism. We're talking about people getting killed in the streets because they want to do some spare value extraction for dudes they don't even know the face of. And yet, especially in a scene like this, where you've got a Brotherhood exclave, you've got maybe an enclave guy talking to you, he could kill you. But still, you're going to be joking around a bit. Oh, you're stinky. Oh, now you've made me angry, you know. And that's just humanity. That's just the way that we make our way through. And that's part of what we really want to try to get at with this title, you know, to bring back that sort of nostalgia levity to this genre while also making it a fun spy movement style simulator game. And so you can get on the next slide, I've got a video demo so you can actually see what it looks like. And after that, we'll talk about some of the Project Devenir, what we've actually think we would need in order to make this thing happen, because this is a pitch deck, so you'll see some money numbers. But first, we can check out this demo. Sadly, in the stream, it seems like some of the audio got a bit delayed, got a bit bugged, but that was a real focus of mine when working on this thing, because I have experience in radio and audio design, and I really want for this to feel tactile, like you're running through this thing, like you're grappling through, like you're really in there, pulling levels, going, and then the of the door. We really wanted to feel like you're in the moment, recording footsteps outside in the snow on the iPhone to try to get that every single movement right. And so now moving on to the next slide, we could talk about what we think this game would actually take to make. But the slide before this, yes. So you could even see on those other slides, all our competitors are a lot of AAA stuff that kind of came out about a decade or more ago. And those things took an average of 2 to 2.5 years of production timeline. So we gave ourselves 3 here. Now, this prototype itself, this gray box, took about 4 or 5 weeks for us to make as per the project guidelines. And so that's where this pre-production chart begins. And then we're thinking about the fact that this gray box, and we want to really plan out every single thing in gray box before we even really get into the real visual end of this thing, really making it pretty so that we can get that loop just perfect, just seamless. So that the only thing that's stopping it is when your players got to go to sleep. You can see just this first year, we just went to gray box, just get the story right, just get the voicing right, just get it all playable and perfectly seamless. So then we can move on to the really important stuff that makes it even easier to play and present. We see on here the vertical slice, we see on here localization, wanting to make it available for everyone. And on a slide like this, the real important thing, this is of course the box leader method, so it's not reflective. I've got a feeling that the BioShock franchise sold much more than Dishonored franchise in its history. It's been repackaged and repurposed so many times. But something really interesting about this that I do believe resonates is that Dishonored 2 and Deathloop sold pretty much the same thing, while one almost drowned in the water and the other is considered now a pillar of the genre. And so there is a real need for a game like this with a new attitude, with a new art style that really hasn't been tapped into yet. And talking about the Hitman games, Hitman 2 came out a handful of years ago, and now they're doing this repackaging over and over with the price points and everything. And so I think the market is really looking for a tight package stealth simulator game like this that you can buy and play and enjoy. And I think they're going to keep wanting that in the future. And, on the bottom here, you can see we've done some ROI calculations. Thank you very much to the Ghost of Ashley for doing a lot of these computations. And going on to the next slide, we can see what that ROI is really based off of. Because when doing the math on this thing, we estimated that for what we would want, it would be about $1,200,000, about 1.2 million in order to really get it done. And you can see the way that we are looking at dividing that money on the right. You can see we're really focused on getting the experience of this game perfect. You can see only a quarter of this thing is dedicated to marketing and localization, so much devoted to quality assurance, so much to art, the music, the audio, the programming. That is really what matters with this thing. Getting that loop just perfect. And we tried around with some lower budget options. We were looking at 750,000, a little higher. But like I said, a lot of the competitors in this field that have released about a decade ago, we're working off of a AAA budget of a bit more than this. And so when taking this to the indie scale, looking at, the two of us talking about bringing on contractors, bringing out outside support, this is about the number that we're looking at. And that brings us to the end of the presentation. Now that you know about the game, now that you know about the money. So going on to the final slide, I've just put some ways that you can contact me. I've got a Wix portfolio that you can take a look at, and I've got my email there. You can find my LinkedIn through the portfolio. Thank you very much. Please reach out to me with whatever, if you want to work with me, if you want to talk about Diamond Blaster through email, through LinkedIn, you can do it however way you want. Just make sure you do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Max. This is amazing. This was very insightful. If I could please have the guest speakers join the stage and possibly help us push this game. We have a few AAA studios here.
This is a great presentation, Max. You yourself, great speaker. You seem like a character. I'm like, man, this guy seems really cool. Super important, in the world of game design to want to work with people. So kudos to you for that. Really like the presentation. I think you guys with the images and the demos gave us a great idea of what this game is about. The storyline really hits. It looks fun. The movement seems fast paced. The grappling, like it just seems like a fun game to be in. Um, I really like the level design of it. I can see how you could build this out to be a huge thing. You could keep this small. It would still be a really fun game no matter what you did. Clearly, budget would restrain the level design and the size of the game. Um, really like, the diamond of magical power kind of design. Gives me a little bit of like Avatar vibes of like what we need to fight over and fight against. Um, core loop core loop looks pretty clean to me as well. um, Me personally, I love having quests so I can check back and stuff. I don't want to go back and talk to people, but I know there's a lot of players who love that kind of like more realistic experience. So I understand the choice there. Overall, I think you guys did a great job with the presentation.
I can add to that. I agreed. I think it was a great presentation. I got a really good idea of your game loop and what you're aiming to do. My only advice is to kind of commit to a scope early. Figure out how big, how small you want you want to make like this experience, because I think the hard part, even if you are gonna contract people and everything, uh, if all your competitors are big AAA games with big productions and everything, um, it's going to be hard to compete with that as a very small team. So I would just say to kind of like think about scope, think about what you're aiming to be, and then it's great that you kind of did a first pass of budgeting and everything there. But if your goal is to make let's say that the scope of like a Dishonored 3, it might be something that you have to reconsider with your team size. But I've always been on the side of saying like the ambition is a good thing, and don't settle for less than what you want to be doing. But just to keep in mind that you know coming up trying to compete with a bunch of AAA games as a very small team is going to be a difficult battle. Not impossible, but I would just be sure that you kind of figure out the scope early.
Yeah, I could go next. Great presentation. You really know how to speak well. It was very clear. All the points were like I didn't get lost at all during the presentation. So really good job there. Gameplay looks good. Game loop was very clear. There were some. I guess I echo what Steven said about these design challenges that I foresee with your vision, just in the sense that there's no quest log. You go back and you talk to them, which I think it could work. I'm just curious how it would work, and so that it wouldn't be a tedious task to have to go back and forth between your mission or between exploring the world and keeping track of everyone's quests that they give you. So really interesting design challenges that I foresee there. But I see the passion is there. I really love the whole perspective of, what was it you wrote down? Like building a revolution, staging a revolution. I think that's an interesting perspective on a genre that sees it already, but I imagine a grander scale, just the way you presented it with freeing the people. So I kind of see like this final battle where you have the whole city on your side, and that's really cool to me. So yeah, good job.
Yeah. I'd like to echo out some of the thoughts that have been said by the earlier speakers. Very nice presentation, great narration. You were really passionate about the content and the game design of the pitch that you have today. Gameplay wise and game design wise, first of all, I really like how you have really planned the story behind to advocate what the game design looks like and what your quests or missions or the entire gameplay loop will look like. I'm really interested to see how you will take this to the next phase of development and how this comes along. Again, as everyone mentioned, looks really interesting. A few advice that I would have would be only, as you mentioned, that there is a very unique selling point of the game, which is talking your way out of the situation, or getting into the action. A lot of times it becomes spontaneous and monotonous, all those dialogues and the dialogue system that you showcase. So if you are having a good AI, and if you try to implement some learning techniques over there, that might induce a bit of dynamic dialogues and dynamic behavior that would even interest the game even more, and it would get monotonous. Otherwise, a thumbs up. I really like how you presented it. I really like how you've been going through the development, and I also appreciate that you have thought about the monetary side of the game and how it performs, how it would perform in the market when it's out.
Well, I can respond for a moment. Yes, Manor. Well, thank you for all the kind words. In terms of the monotony of the dialogue, I'm a little bit of a tough sell on that because I love games like Disco Elysium and Pentiment. But of course, the plan would eventually be to have the dialogue fully voiced, like the Final Cut, and to really have this thing, to have the dialogue really be a cornerstone. Because you're talking about the monotony of it, but to me, that's a really big portion of what makes it super different. Is the fact that you can get into a situation where maybe your disguise falls and a guard comes up to you and talks to you, and you have to actually just talk your way out or get everyone involved in the moment. And in terms of the quest log, like you guys brought up, I completely agree that it could get a little bit lost in the noggin in terms of all the different stuff you do. And in development, we talked about the idea of having a diegetic notepad that perhaps you take notes on the dialogue that you've heard. But the real important thing about the no quest log, no inventory system is just opening up a UI element, opening up a widget that then you have to scroll through, come Skyrim, come any Bethesda title, where then you're sort of fidgeting and looking through and reading, just keeping it diegetic. And so we talked about a notepad, we talked about a phone, didn't quite make it into the gray box, but especially in a little example like this in the mission, you don't really forget what you're doing. But yes, definitely in terms of expanding it, it's definitely something that would be on the block. Yeah, but thank you everyone for your feedback and for seeing my presentation.
Thank you, Max, and thank you to all of our amazing guest speakers. We'll do the same thing again if everyone could just leave the stage. Thanks, Max. There we go. All right. Okay, Azadeh, take it away.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Do you have my? A little bit complete.
It's okay. Just whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, sure. Hello, everyone. Please, next slide. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to share my idea. I hope you find it interesting. My name is Azadeh Ashraf. I am a game designer, artist, and animator with a background in animation and graphic design. I am currently completing my internship at the game studio while developing this project independently with a focus on cultural storytelling and interactive experiences. My interest in audience interaction during my master's studies motivated me to pursue game design as a way to create a truly interactive narrative. Please next. Please next. Thank you. This question, two questions shape the path of Torrent. That one of them is how can a rhythm-based game deliver the skill driver challenge? And the second one is how can Persian mythology and clean patterns become a living interactive world? Next, please. The problem that caused I go to this idea is many rhythm games use abstract mechanics that limit emotional and cultural and skill-based expression. and non-Western world like Persian mythology remain largely unexplored in interactive experiences. Next, please. The goal is to create a rhythm-driven adventure blending Persian art and mythology and music into an emotionally engaging skill-based gameplay experience while iteratively refining mechanics and player experience. Next, please. Ava, with her companion that is good and guardian of lights, navigated rhythm paths and collected the chapter gem and faces the black demon to restore the carpet towards light and color. Actually, Awa is a travel restoring balance through rhythm-based movement. Next, please. The animation illustrates the intended rhythm-based core gameplay loop that is movement is survival and rhythm is the rule. Next, please.
Come back alive.
Let's go. Great job. Welcome to the world of sunset.
Next, please. I had three steps for made some prototype. That the first video you can see it's presented an early playable prototype focused on exploring spatial flow, player movement, and overall progression structure. At this stage, the goal is to evaluate how players navigate the space and understand and transition between area and experience facing over time. And the rhythm-based mechanics are intentionally not implemented yet, as this prototype is designed to validate core navigation and progression before laying more complex systems. And the second video focuses on environment layout and early level design. At this stage, I am exploring a stage composition and selecting a special structure that will later allow me to divide it to environment and integrated inspired motif into the level design. Sorry, I think that you go to the yeah, this before that this slide, yeah, it has three yes video. I was talking about the second one, that is as environment layout and level designer that I already explained about it. And the third one, it was character interaction and hybrid camera, a switchable third-person perspective actually improves control and engagement. I think I talked about this as well. As you know, the goat should be follow the main character to help them and to like face on the enemies. Thank you. Next slide, please. The result that I achieved, it was pre-alpha prototyping, emphasize the importance of the clear core gameplay vision. I strengthened my ability to prioritize mechanics iterated on the flow and bridge the gaps between intended experience and current implementation. Next, please. The challenges which we faced on that, it was the main challenge was translating Persian dance, music, and visual motif into readable gameplay systems while maintaining rhythm-based interactivity. Communicating vision through both animation and prototype was crucial. Next, please. And timeline, starting from early concept and core mechanics, the project will iteratively develop gameplay levels and culturally inspired system, aiming for polished and culturally rich experiences by 2027. Next, please. Next, please. Persian art, the takeaways that I had. Persian art and mythology and music have a strong potential for rhythm-based gameplay, movement timing, and environment convey cultural meaning and emotional impact. Thought translation design to playable mechanics requires careful iterations. Next, please. The value is clear creative vision, cultural depth, and a scalable system and an experience combining narrative and rhythm meaningfully. Next, please. And the next step that I am planned for that is expanded level design movement inspired by Persian dance, integrated music and refined rhythm mechanics, and test with player feedback. Next, please. Thank you so much for giving me time to show my idea.
Amazing. Thank you, Azadeh. Your demo was so cool. Really enjoyed watching that. If you could please have the guest speakers join us on stage as well.
I can go first. I think it's looking really awesome. The art style and everything, you know, that's something that is super well developed here, and I think it's really great. I think that the challenge is going to be validating the rhythm based gameplay, and the audio design behind that, making sure that uh, the kind of the level design and the audio design go hand in hand, right? And the player making sure that those mechanics are really tight and really fun. I would say, like, before you go too far down the you know, developing art, I would really validate those mechanics first, the rhythm based mechanics and everything, because if for whatever reason some kind of you know, your level scale or whatever changes, and you might have to redo a bunch of art. So I'd focus on validating the rhythm mechanics next, which it looked like in your timeline that was kind of what was next now. But I would really advise you to focus on making sure the gameplay is really tight and polished before developing further in the art, because I think the style and everything, you've got that nailed down, but just to make sure that the mechanics are really fun.
Sure, thank you so much.
Yeah, I could go next. Yeah, so great job with the art. The art style is clear. I love it. It's fun. It's accessible to a bunch of people. to a lot of groups of people. So that's like really solid. I think even your level art, like in engine, like even if it's a lot of it is gray box or a mix of gray box and actual art assets, looks really good. Great first steps for that. I also really love that I know a lot about you just by your pitch. I could tell who's making this game. It's someone who's passionate about their culture, then they want to share this culture to the world. So that's a really nice touch to it. I would echo with Mike that the gameplay is still, and not that I don't see it, but I have trouble understanding it completely. So really taking the time to perfect the gameplay, or actually getting started with how the rhythm is going to affect the puzzles, how it's going to affect the levels, how it's going to affect your movement, all those little mechanics, how it's going to play into rhythm is really important, just to make sure that it's fun, because this is a great idea. The idea is there. Let's make sure it's fun. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I feel
I can go
very
next.
similarly.
I would just like to congratulate. All
Go
right,
ahead.
I'll just wait for you.
No, you go ahead.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. So I feel like you have a really nice and polished anticipated audio and video uh, video that you showed, and the only challenge that I could figure out, and just echoing out what other members also said, is to translate the level of polish from what you expect to what you can deliver in the terms of gameplay. So as you have been given a little bit of advice that you need to polish out the gameplay before you can actually start building other systems and other art-based aspects. One more thing that I really appreciate is that you have a story and like a culture related aspect associated with it. So that would really help you give a direction to the music or the audio that you're going to produce, and even at some point of time, the art that you're going to produce. So that's going to be a good major plus to you. And yes, I mean, like, I would be interested to play in playing this game, and it would be a game that would interest a wider group of people in terms of age group. So yeah, I really like the concept. Yeah, all the best.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I feel very similarly to everyone else here. Art style is great. I can see 8-year-olds playing this game. I can see 80-year-olds playing this game. It's a really easy art style to get into. It's not scary, but you can see kind of who's evil, who's good. Really like the goat with the mechanical legs, kind of brings like a little bit of a lighthearted approach to it. The level design and the puzzles I totally got from the pitch. Looks good. My like main comment in my doc was like, how does the rhythm portion work? um, you kind of said music obstacle synchronization, so I get like a little bit of an idea of how it could work. I do think you're going to really want to spend a lot of time fleshing that out, making it fun. As everyone else said, like the art looks great, but if you build out too much art and have to make changes, is a very costly change to make. So just get the building blocks in great shape. But I would also play this game. I think this would be a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for all the feedback that I had it. Just I want to also mention that in this game, movement as a survival and rhythm as a guidance, and restoring balances through flow. It is a kind of like core thing. And also for the loops that maybe it's not so clear about my like prototype or whatever that you are watching right now. The core loops for my gameplay, it was that listen to rhythm cues and move in time and navigate upscale and like receive feedback and adapt yourself with the environment and movement. and also the rhythm that you will be here. And the things that I really like to bring the culture and especially my country culture to this because I knew that it doesn't work for this kind of mythology, and also it's a very very good potential for from the mythology and also about the everything that is in this game can be even looks so different with this that you saw because I didn't have time. This was a very short time that I need to provide everything with together as a solo project. But it's very just without any even move on the character that I took from the mythology. I didn't change too much, but I just only used. I wanted to check and test that how can be excited for the audience and player to interact with this story and something like that. And I hope that I didn't leave anything out of the explain, and I explained that anything that you need to know. Thank you so much.
There we go. I was pressing every button except the unmute button. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much, Azadeh, for presenting. We're super proud of you. All right, same thing. Just get everyone to leave the stage here with us. And then we'll move on to Samiha, our last pitch of the day. Samiha, whenever you're ready, please join the stage.
I just want to make sure that the audio is working first.
Yes, audio, video, both.
Fantastic. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about Moonwalker. On to the next slide, Mahnur. But first, a little bit about myself. I grew up in Bangladesh and moved to Canada in 2020, did my undergrad at the University of Waterloo. I was in honors arts, majored in fine arts specifically, and minored in digital arts and communication, through which I learned that I really enjoy working with interactive media, and so the transition to game design just felt natural. Games hold a special place in my heart because I associate some of my favorite people with them. My favorite kind has changed drastically throughout the years, but as of right now, I quite enjoy games with a good art style and strong narrative, like Disco Elysium or Slay the Princess, and mechanics that encourage players to get good, like Silksong. In terms of my own skill set and game engines, through this course, I learned how to work with Unreal, which is what I made the demo for this game on. And I've also used RPG Maker and Twine in the past and have dabbled in Unity and Game Maker. What I'm seeking currently is employment or internship or mentorship opportunities and growth in general. On to the next slide. A little bit about my personal philosophy as a creator. As I've mentioned previously, I like player agency and pushing the boundaries of it. The artist in me likes making things that can make an audience think through storytelling. I think it's something we've seen succeed repeatedly, especially with games like Expedition 33, almost having a historic sweep at the Game Awards last year. I also like when the gameplay and mechanics can complement that, whether it's by simplifying the way To the Moon does, or by creating multiple ways to beat the game, like Silksong. Unfortunately, this pitch does not contain the next Flappy Bird or Candy Crush, but today I present to you Moonwalker. On to the next slide. One small step for man and a few leaps into the unknown for mankind. You've just touched down onto the moon, accompanied by your co-pilot. After taking one giant leap for mankind, you may have to take a few more soon after, as your co-pilot, Major Tom, succumbs to space madness, or rather some form of lunacy. On the run from your hostile teammate, you must find your way back to the spaceship so you can contact ground control and survive from your comrade with the death wish. Through this 2D platformer, explore whether mankind should explore an interplanetary existence. On to the next slide. So a little bit about the gameplay. It's a 2D single-player platformer RPG set on the moon. The gameplay spans across multiple levels where players run from and interact with Major Tom. Through your responses, you have agency over the outcome in this branching narrative. Your objective, should you choose to accept it, run away from Major Tom, collect key pieces, contact ground control. I add should you choose to accept it because I quite like games like Hades for making losing just another exciting part of gameplay that unlocks new experiences. The mechanics are your usual run and jump that you have with platformers, controlled by both the arrow keys and the AWD key, depending on which you're most comfortable with. But then you also have the option to toggle between light and dark mode, which you can use to strategize, like I myself, while playing through the game, realized I don't always have to change modes if the platform is somewhere that I can blindly feel out. So I, as the type of player I am, can choose to take that gamble to varying degrees of success. On to the next slide. And we've got the demo coming up. All right. Some context on the game and the inspiration. This started off as an in-class group activity where we were given the theme of light and dark to generate ideas for. One of the examples we were given was Limbo, which has interesting lighting choices that change the visibility of the setting, which we decided to turn into the game mechanic, like the core mechanic for this game that changes the player dynamics. In this case, it encourages players to strategize and use the features provided to their advantage. After the in-class activity, I decided to continue developing it further as a solo project to help my ideation process and prototype development. Conceptually, Major Tom is the result of David Bowie's Space Odyssey, the historic origin of the term lunacy, and questions about what the billion-dollar industry of making space travel accessible will achieve for mankind as a whole, and the dying planet that we live in, raised by a book I was reading at the time called AI Needs You that has a chapter on the space race. On to the next slide. So some of the challenges include playing around with the gravity settings on the player character since it is on the moon. But I have to keep in mind the fact that it is a platformer, so players have to still be able to comfortably jump onto platforms. So I wish to keep working on making the player movement a lot smoother as I keep developing this. Another major challenge was figuring out how to implement light and dark mode because I can't find tutorials for that. So I had to come up with a few different methods to see what worked, which was a fun process of Frankensteining tutorials together and problem solving with some help from my course instructor, which was extremely helpful since working with 2D on Unreal can be quite tricky. But it was a fun process of merging ideas together, learning and getting comfortable with the engine and design process. The assets were also drawn on my tablet, so in order to make sure it would be legible in light and dark, I frequently switched and inverted the colors and values to make sure it's still legible. And working out the branching narrative and figuring out what features to keep and discard for the sake of time was also a challenge. My takeaway is growing throughout the process of making this as a designer and gaining experience throughout every aspect of the pipeline. Next slide. A brief look at the timeline. Currently, I'm at the prototyping phase, and I've still got a few more features to implement within the engine itself and making some more levels. On to the next slide. In terms of next steps with this project, as I continue to develop and play test the game further, I'd like to tweak things to maximize how much fun players can have with this game. Updating the assets and audio design is also crucial because the one in the demo right now needs a lot of work, especially with the player animation. I still need to add in some jump animations for it and idle flipbooks. And polishing and then moving into marketing and release will be the next step. In terms of personal goals, I'm looking to start a job in the field of game design as soon as possible. I know the game that I'm currently pitching screams indie, but I am just itching to get some hands-on experience and will enjoy whatever project you have me work on, because as long as I get to learn something and make something, it's a win in my books. I just want to be in the room where it happens and help out in whatever way I can. I'm also open to internship and mentorship opportunities. And of course, the most important part, I'm looking to continue learning and growing as a creator. I'm looking forward to making and releasing things, participating in game jams, collaborating, working solo, all of it. Thank you. My apologies for speeding through this presentation, but honestly, I could talk about each slide for hours, so feel free to reach out or ask any questions at all. I'd love to chat about it.
Thank you so much, Miha. This was amazing. You did such a good job, and it sets a very nice, calming tone. And I love how you've drawn every single one of the assets. So great job.
Thank you.
Could I please have the guest speakers join us on stage for one last time?
I can start us off again. I love the presentation. Great job. The two kind of like bits of advice I'd have is you touched upon it there, but like the animations and the audio design, making sure that not just the like adding a jump animation, but just making sure that the platforming feels great is what you're going to want to focus on, and that that just takes time and iteration. You're heading well there, and you mentioned the light and dark and kind of looking for how to do it and inspiration. I don't know if you're familiar with Guacamelee. They have it's a Metroidvania kind of platformer, but they have the idea of like a light world and dark world. It's not as much black and white as yours, but it might be cool to look into, because just from watching the gameplay video there, where you're walking into those things and it's changing the light, and they have a very similar mechanic, so it might inspire you for a couple of I don't know, platforming puzzles and things you can do there. But I think it's a really solid idea, and I think you've got the scope kind of like looking, I wouldn't be concerned about scope. I think you've got a lot of solid foundation stuff there, and yeah, good luck.
Thank you. I'll be sure to check that out. I haven't played that game before, so definitely adding that to my list of games to play in the near future.
Cool.
I could go next.
I can go next. Again.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
All right. So the player loops look definitive. Yeah. As I was mentioning, the player loop looks definitive, and that's what I'm very interested in. I would really like to see how you can take the player loop and expand it even more in order to get some more elements out of it, as in some game design and some more gameplay out of the loop that you have. I like that you have some dialogues over there. I couldn't read all of them, but like it felt like you were trying to add some humor or some story over there, which is another nice aspect that I really wanted to appreciate. The prototype 2D also currently has decent level of graphics and polish, although as it was advised, a little more polish on how the jump and how the landing feels like would be a cherry on the top of the cake. Just a bit of advice on what you can experiment would be a split screen kind of mode with both the modes coming up on the same time, where players mimicking each other can also, add some basic elements of gameplay into your game. But overall, I really like it, and I would like to spend some time playing this game.
Thank you. Yeah, in terms of the player, like the feel of the player when jumping and everything, that's definitely something I plan on working on pretty soon, since I was playing around with the gravity settings a lot as I was making the demo, but I think I might have pushed it a little too far to the point where it's kind of uncomfortable to play at the moment.
I'll go next. Your presentation of the pitch was really good. It got me from the beginning. Just the way you presented it. You mentioned like space madness, David Bowie. Like it really resonated with me. So that was awesome. That presentation. The prototype itself looks really good. I'm going to echo what they said, that because it's a platformer, the feel of jumping, the feel of landing, all that is really important. Got to get that solid, but it's a great first step, and it was visually pleasing, as well as the music for it. Just a bit of David Bowie acoustic distorted, like very memorable, but its own kind of feeling. I would advise that with the text that you had, the text was very small, and you're giving the player a really precise task that they got to do, which is platforming. So trying to read while platforming is a challenge in itself that you should consider finding a solution to. But I do love like the narrative aspect to the platforming on top of it. So finding a nice balance between the two would be nice to see in the future. Additionally, I wasn't quite sure what you were trying to display with the light switch, because it seemed that I was still able to land on platforms that were invisible in that light setting. And I'm not sure how the light setting then affects the puzzles. So maybe some more clarity in your demo for that is needed. But the idea is cool. I really love that you have very focused mechanics that I see a lot of expansion just from those base mechanics. So I'm really looking forward to how you expand on this. Really good job.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the feedback, especially with the dialogue element, because that is definitely something that I will continue to work on.
Right. Yeah, I think the idea is fun. Platformers, of course, are fun too. I agree with people talking about like the balance and the feel of the platforming. I too, like Costa mentioned, wasn't quite sure if like the light and the dark mode actually did anything other than a visual effect. I think I would like to see it do something different, whether certain platforms appear or disappear, maybe gravity changes in a different light setting. I think you can add mechanics that will make the gameplay a lot more interesting, and kind of make the player feel really smart for choosing when to kind of change the light modes. The narrative as well. I would like to figure out how it impacts the platforming too. Like, how do my decisions impact my gameplay? Because I want, every decision I make should kind of impact the world in some way. And I think this is a smart way to do it. I think you can build this out quite easily. So I think you're well on your way. And then one thing I was curious about was you mentioned like the game economy, and I wasn't quite sure from the demo how like the collecting of keys and the economy played into your gameplay experience.
So in terms of the game economy, one of the things that I was trying to work out, especially with like the early stages of design, was trying to figure out how many keys that I'd like for the player to have to collect, and also just the way that the light bulbs are distributed throughout the levels. But that's definitely something that I think I'm going to continue tweaking well into playtesting just to make sure that it's fun to play still, especially with the light bulbs, since the platforms that are essentially invisible in the mode that the player is in, they still have collisions on, so players can still jump onto them. But I'd like to change around the positioning of platforms so that players are more inclined to not want to use the light bulb feature sometimes, just to see how it would affect gameplay. So that's definitely something that I want to tweak as I go into playtesting. And also the idea for playing around with the gravity settings in the light and dark mode is definitely something that I will be adding on to look into. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Samiha, and thank you to all of our guest speakers for providing all the amazing feedback. I'm just going to wrap up our pitch day for the day. So if I could just please have everyone leave the stage for one last time. There we go. Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, great work to all of our graduates today, and congratulations on the completion of your game design bootcamp. Now I'll just kind of talk a little bit more about our global network that we have. And again, thank you so much to our guest speakers for joining us, and the technical insights that you've provided and shared with our graduates is really invaluable as they start out on their careers. For those of you who are not partners with us yet, we have several opportunities to partner with us, anything from speaking at events like today to hiring our talent. Please send me any questions you may have. My email is up on the screen. With that, thank you so much. Just one last time to everyone for joining, everyone in the audience, everyone that was commenting in the chat and congratulating our graduates. With that, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining. Bye now.